How's it going, everyone? Andy here from 4K Downtime, back at you with another 4K video. Today we're going to talk about E3 predictions, and this will be our very first E3 prediction that we're going to do right on this channel. And the company we're going to start off with is Microsoft. Now, unlike all the other companies that is having a press conference this year at E3, the one that I'm actually most intrigued by is actually Microsoft of all the companies that's having the conference. And the main reason behind that is just of all the other companies, we more or less know what kind of games can we expect from them, even though we might not know all of them, which in this case, because due to all of the recent E3 leaks, I kind of felt like there's already a lot of publishers that's been very frustrated. But when it comes to Microsoft, not a lot has really been leaked, aside from maybe just one or two. But in terms of that, I felt like they're the only ones that is walking into this E3 showing with pretty much they have to give us a lot more than just the typical stuff that they've been given the last couple of years. Now, when it comes to the prediction for Microsoft, it's like I'm gonna go in a little in depth about like what I think they should show, or what I think would be basically just a mediocre press conference if they, hopefully they're not that predictable. But right off the bat, what I want to talk about is literally the games that we could expect from them. Now, what are the games that we could expect? Well, first of all, we already kind of like know games like Forza Horizon 4 is going to come out this year. It's no surprise, Forza comes out on a yearly basis, so Forza is pretty much guaranteed. Now, the kind of games that I expect them to show as well, it's next Halo, next Gears of War, hopefully a release date for Crackdown 3. Now, these are the ones that maybe we are pretty much guaranteed that they're going to show, maybe like tease in some way, whether or not it's coming out this year, I don't know. What I'm expecting from Microsoft is definitely more than just the sequels to some of their most well-known franchises. One of the things that I really want from them is literally to bring back some exclusives, primarily the exclusives that was actually with them with the original Xbox. Now, there are rumors floating around that apparently there's going to be like a Ninja Gaiden 4, and rumored that they're going to get Dino Crisis as an exclusive, Dino Crisis 4, because 3 was exclusive to the original Xbox on the Xbox One. Now, that's all nice and dandy, but I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually remember I did a video once here talking about Sega paying a visit over to Microsoft Studios. Now, back then I made some speculation that, okay, so are they talking about some potential exclusives, sequel exclusive, that back then they owned, like Crazy Taxi 4 and Jet Set Radio Future 2, if they did something like that. Now, this is something that if was announced, I will be really down for it. If they announce that there's going to be a Crazy Taxi 4, or even like I said, the Jet Set Radio Future 2, if it's any of these two titles that get announced, that would be really, really good, because that's the one thing I kind of felt like Xbox is lacking at the moment. Because when it comes to exclusives at the moment, what the Xbox One is lacking at the moment is a really compelling single player game. Because if you look at the last two exclusives we've got, one being Sea of Thieves, the other one being State of Decay 2, both of these two games are heavily on multiplayer. And the one thing is, the multiplayer games is the one thing that Microsoft have always done well, and I kind of felt like they need to step out of their comfort zone and deliver certain genres that they're not particularly familiar with. And I felt like with that, you could look at some of the, first of all, some of the studios that you've already owned, like Rare. Now, when it comes to Rare at the moment, I'm sure a lot of people have said this before, and I'm just kind of adding on to it, is that Rare was much better off when they were with Nintendo. Like during the times when Rare was actually with Nintendo, they were in the top of their game. Almost every game was a smash hit for them. But as soon as Microsoft bought them off, nothing really came out of Rare that, any of the games that they've released during that time, that even compares with what they've accomplished on Nintendo consoles. Now, this could be obviously due to the fact that because Rare, there were a lot of people that have left during that period as well, so that could also explain why. But my biggest problem here is Microsoft's lack of really trying to bring some of those old IPs back in a new way. Now, they have been rumored that a new Perfect Dark is coming. If that's the case, great, because while I didn't exactly hate Zero, but I've only thought it was a decent game at best. So hopefully, if there is a new Perfect Dark game, they were able to really make it stand out, especially compared to Gears of War and Halo, which are already two of Microsoft's flagship franchises. Now, the other titles that they could have really brought back is games like Banjo. Like, a sequel to Banjo would be great, and or sequel to Conquer. Like, I think like the remaster that came out, I think Conquer's Bad Fur, they reloaded, like, on the original Xbox. I really felt like when they did that there, that should have been Conquer 2. I had no idea why they decided to remake it instead of just making it a proper sequel. But again, it's like little moves like this that Microsoft makes here that I don't really get. I'm sure they brought back Killer Instinct this gen, which from what I've played is actually not a bad game at all. But again, they need more variety in terms of their exclusives, because when it comes to third-party games, yeah, Microsoft has it down to a T. I don't really think they need to worry anything about their third-party support. Their biggest problem right now, at least to me, like, their biggest weakness is that they don't have enough compelling exclusives. And because they don't have enough yet, because when you look at between all three consoles, yeah, especially like, with them, obviously Sony and Nintendo as well, one thing that Sony and Nintendo does a pretty bang up job yet is that their exclusive titles are more than just great. Like, they're Game of the Year material. Just look at, like, Persona 5 and Horizon, and then you got Breath of the Wild and Odyssey. All four of these games, yeah, were nominated for Game of the Year last year. So it seems like Microsoft doesn't have an exclusive they could call their own that it's so good that can actually match up to them. So hopefully, if they decide to, like, do more do more exclusive games, like, do more exclusive games that is much more out of their comfort zone. Again, if they could manage to get Ninja Gaiden 4 funded and make it exclusive to them, that would be awesome. The same thing with Dino Crisis as well. I'm not too sure after the abomination that is Dino Crisis 3. I really have no idea how Dino Crisis 4 can redeem itself. But hey, Capcom's team has been impressing me quite recently, so if they manage to bring back Dino Crisis in a fun way, hell, I'll play it. But I just felt this is what I expect from Microsoft's press conference. I hope there will be a lot of surprises, not just third-party games. Like I said, third-party games, I know for a fact that they're going to get it. That's not the whole point here. It's to have a lot of compelling exclusives where people will be like, oh my god, I gotta buy an Xbox One just to try out these games because they are so good, they look so good, and hopefully they play well as well. And that's pretty much it in terms of, like, their games. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the potential thing that Microsoft has been kind of, they haven't really been upfront about it, but remember there was this rumor about them talking about acquiring different studios back then. I believe like it was about 2 or 3 months ago, where they were talking about acquiring EA and that kind of stuff, and Valve or Steam. If Microsoft does indeed acquire Steam, that will be huge for them. Like, if they come out and announce that, yeah, we've bought off Steam and now Steam is officially part of Xbox, that could be really huge for them. I mean, I myself personally don't game on Steam at all, but even I know, like, how huge that is. Or if they acquired Valve, like, hey, as soon as you speak that, just think no more. Half-Life 3, that's it. That will be like, that will be it for them. I mean, I really don't see them acquiring EA. Like, that was just something that I don't think EA would ever allow themselves to be bought out like this. But for Valve and especially Steam, I could definitely see that being a possibility, and it could definitely like do quite a bit of a turnaround for them if they did manage to acquire them. Because Microsoft, if there's one thing that they definitely have, they have money. They have the pockets. So to close this off, I'm definitely the most intrigued about Microsoft's press conference. They did say it's 2 hours long, and if it is indeed 2 hours long, yeah, I'm sure it's definitely more than just Halo, Gears, Crackdown 3, and Forza, because you're not going to, like, what are you going to talk about, like half an hour for each of them? So that's definitely not going to be the case. I just hope these 2 hours is literally a slew of unannounced games that we could look forward to. Hopefully, like, not all of them is going to be next year. Hopefully some of them has actually been in development for a very long time, and then they will announce it and they say like, oh, you could play it by the end of the year. That will be it for me. That's what I expect from, hopefully, from Microsoft's press conference. I just hope they're not going to let us down, because with the way how the sales of the Xbox One has been recently, I don't think they could really afford it. So if they could really surprise me, hey, that would be a win for me, and I'll be happy to say that, you know what, I'm going to dust off my Xbox One and I'm going to start trying out these amazing games, whether if it's Banjo 3, Ninja Gaiden 4, Jet Set Radio Future 2, Crazy Taxi 4, any of these would intrigue me. I definitely would buy them if those were announced. But anyway, guys, enough from me. I'm definitely going to do obviously a prediction for both Sony and Nintendo. I'm not too sure at the moment about if I'm going to do it for the other publishers. I might just want to focus on the big three. But anyways, I'd like to hear what you guys expect from Microsoft press conference. Are you expecting them to shatter your expectations? Or is there any games that you're hopeful that hopefully that they want to announce? Comment below and let us know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching as usual. If you can like this video, consider subscribing. If not, you could hit a dislike. But as always, we thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Take it easy. Bye.